certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankin. It's going to be a fun one today. We're talking about top 12 Wrestlemanias. Sorry for being a little bit late.
Gentlemen, my bad.
It literally is my fault, but I've got a great people here. Jacob here. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going well. Always happy to be on when we're talking wrestling. It's even better. So thank you for having me.
And we've also got Richie here. Richie, how's it going?
Yeah, I feel like I talk about wrestling with Jacob a lot. I don't for some other show, but it's when good to do it again. Always good to talk wrestling, especially the showcase of the Immortals.
But we may have one more person join us a little bit later. But the way Rankin works is that each go around and nominate a in this case WrestleMania we think belongs on the top 12 list, and then everyone else will say yes or no to it. Jacob, we're going to go to you first. What is the first WrestleMania you're going to bring up?
There's one that I think is the best. This is my personal favorite. I'm going to go with 19 from the great city of Seattle, Washington. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm from here, from the state. It's a really good WrestleMania. I think top to bottom, every match delivers. You're kicking off with that cruiserweight match between Matt Hardy and Rey Mysterio. I really enjoy that version of Matt Hardy's character. The Undertaker handicap match, not the best Undertaker match that he's had during this week, but certainly not the worst either. You had a great triple threat women's match. A great triple threat tag team match. Weird that they put triple threats back to back, but whatever. But then these final 4-5 matches are all bangers, starting with Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, all the way to the main event. Questionable booking decision with Booker T not going over Triple H. I think that's the one downfall of the show, that and the Miller catfight girl thing. Other than that, the matches deliver. Great pop with Roddy Piper returning during the Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Mr. McMahon match. Just top to bottom, I think it delivered. So 19 is my first nomination.
Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 19?
Yeah, I expected this to be brought up early. We rewatch for Lonely Marks, and it still holds up. It's one of the better manias. I must have blocked that Miller girl the cat fighting thing out of my mind, because it didn't trigger to me until I watched it. I'm like, oh yeah, this was that one, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan. I think the positives certainly outweigh the negatives. The Vince Hogan match is way better than it had any right to be. It's just booked really well. It's actually quite a fun match. And Brock and Kurt Angle is one of my favorite WrestleMania main events of all time. So for that reason alone, it has to be up here.
Yeah, I only managed to watch a couple of older WrestleManias I haven't seen for this, and this was one of the ones that I chose. And it's one of those ones I always find it funny when they put a stipulation if X person loses, they must retire. It's that means they're probably most likely going to win, unless they're going to be retiring at some that year. I really enjoyed WrestleMania 19. I think it was a lot of fun for some fun matches there on the card. And it's one of those ones with any pay per view it's very rare going to find a pay-per-view that's banger after banger, like all the way through. There's always going to be one or two like matches that are going to be duds, but it doesn't take away from the rest of the card. So yeah, WrestleMania 19 is going to be for me as well. It's going to start making the list. Richie, what is next one you get? First one you're going to bring up?
Yeah, this might be sort of a bit recency biased, but I'd argue it's up there. I'm not going to go this year's one. That's not, but I'm going to go last year's one. WrestleMania 40. I actually thought it was that WrestleMania is really good. Culminating in Cody finishing his story in a very really great storyline. You had Charlotte and Rhea Ripley in a just a banger of a match.
Rhea and Becky last year.
Oh, Rhea and Becky. That's right. It was Rhea and Becky. I before you even did that, I'm like, oh, that's right. In my head, I'm like, yeah. But Rhea and Becky still banger of a match. Bailey and Io Sky still, it was really good. And I just really dug this Mania, and then sort of the sort of and the implications going forward, and it kind of led to it obviously leads to afterwards like Roman babyface, and it was still but I think it had really great long-term storyline building into WrestleMania 40. And even when they pivoted the night one having the Rock go heel in the tag match, I thought that tag match actually went off pretty damn well for what it was. And it was just really exciting. I'm going to go WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, no, like WrestleMania 40 is great. Like, this is one that, like, after watching this went really high on my list too. And yeah, this is just one of those ones that I thought was a lot of fun from start to finish. And like, even like the Cody Reigns match aside, like, I really enjoyed all the other matches on the card too. I think it was a lot of fun just seeing like, yeah. So it's going to be an easy yes for me as well. Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania 40?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this Mania, and yeah, when it gets to time to vote, this one might rank pretty high for me. And I don't know if that's recency bias or what, but I think everything for the most part delivered. I can overlook the Jay and Jimmy match. Hopefully they get a chance to run it back and correct that. But yeah, Sami Zayn winning the IC title was really cool. Although I would appreciate it if they stopped calling him an underdog with how many big moments he's had. He's not an underdog anymore. That tag match that main evented night one was fantastic. Especially with all the heel Rock is such a fun Rock. When he's bad mouthing everyone, like it's fantastic. And then night two, Drew finally winning, the big one in front of the crowd, only to get thwarted by CM Punk and Damian Priest was a lot of fun. And seeing Drew go on the run that he's had the last year, just a lot of good stuff. So and shout out to iShow Speed. Not only does he take a spear from Braun Breaker, but he takes an RKO from Randy Orton. Dude's a fan. I watched a clip with Triple H about the Rumble, and he was like, he pitched the Braun Breaker stuff, and he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. So like he was into it. It's cool. 40 I think deserves to be on the list.
Who could forget Pride? Remember the Pride? Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits that didn't last. Anyway,
remember the Final Testament?
But with that, we've got Brandon here as well. Brandon, how's it going?
It's going all right. I'm trying to get my son's tablet going because my phone is a piece of crud.
Mhm.
All good.
What do you say about WrestleMania 40?
Anyway, it's actually good timing. Brandon, going to go to you first if you can hear me. What is the first WrestleMania you're going to bring up? I've just put the ones that have come up in there for you. Uh, you are muted at the moment. No, I need to try and work things out at the moment. Oh,
All right, can you hear me now?
we can hear
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just make it quick while I'm trying to get this tablet going. Um, I was going to go with the one that's my personal favorite. Has everything from sadly the Undertaker's streak ending all the way to the Miracle on Bourbon Street. I'm going to go with WrestleMania 30.
That WrestleMania 30 is on the table. Yeah, this is one of the this is one of those ones I do quite like, and yeah, um and it's one of the have to actually refresh myself with it, but I do remember stuff from it because I know this is one of the Red Daniel Bryan ones as well. But yeah, I mean it's one I definitely remember watching. I'm definitely saying yes to it. And yeah, oh yeah, that's right. That's the one that Hulk Hogan was the host of. That. But yeah, I mean, it was one of those ones like Daniel Bryan, like Triple H leading into the main event, and I want to say this might have been one of the last times that the Andre the Giant Battle Royale was actually on WrestleMania, with Cesario winning. It's like,
The last one was in that Hardy one.
The first one.
so,
This is the first one, yeah.
uh, for some reason I've forgot about how early it started, but yeah, like you've got a lot of great matches. You've got John Cena, Bray Wyatt, you've got Brock and the Undertaker, and it's and you've got the Vicky Guerrero Invitational match with Divas Championship, which is what it is. But I thought it was a fun match. I haven't seen it in a while though. But Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania 30?
Yeah, it's a weird one, because yeah, like I really enjoy that opener between Bryan and Triple H, and then obviously Bryan winning the title at the end is one of the best moments I think in WrestleMania history. But then you got that 6-man tag between the Shield and the New Age Outlaws and Kane, which is like 3 minutes, and it was kind of, oh, okay, we're gonna show how dominant the Shield are, and then, oh, but they're gonna break up soon, so don't worry about it. Yeah, Cena and Bray Wyatt was a lot of fun. The streak ending was such a memorable moment. That the battle royal, Cesaro just lifting up Big Show and eliminating him, such a feat of strength. I don't care how many times I see it. It's impressive every single time. The Vicky Guerrero Invitational is just a way to get a bunch of women on the card. There's no reason that should have been only 7 minutes. You get all those women. Give them more time. Give women's wrestling some time. They do now, which is really cool. But they didn't care about it as much. I think until like 32, which I don't know if we'll bring that one up. But yeah, no, this one's really good. It's towards the bottom of my list, but it's still on my list, so I'll say yes.
And Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 30?
Yeah, I think if you look through like the matches, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Daniel Bryan Triple H is a good match. There's also a pre-show match with the Usos defending the tag titles. Which is annoying. That couldn't be the main show. And they defend the tag titles against the El Matadores, which is the Colognes, and Also, Cesaro and Jack Swagger, he did double duty this week. He did double duty in this WrestleMania, and Ryback. Yeah, honestly, I had forgotten all about the Vicky Invitational until you brought it up. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. That was just, I went, oh. But the Cena Bray Wyatt match is really good. I think I brought it up when we were talking about best Cena, our best Bray Wyatt matches. I think when he passed.
Yeah.
And then even in the video package leading up to it with the Eminem, the Legacy song, which is very underrated song from him. I think that was really well done, and would play into their 5-5 final match later, a lot later on. I think that's really good. And then when you have a big WrestleMania moment like Daniel Bryan finally, getting his moment when it was the fans finally won. I feel like the fans won and they got what they want. I feel like it has to be on this list somewhere. Like Jacob, it might be on mid tier towards the bottom because it's such a it's more of a mixed bag, and I personally don't think Brock should have beaten Undertaker, but it's still a cool moment. So, but because of moments, I think it deserves to be here. But it'll probably just be on when you go to rank from light mid to lower tier. But yes, I'll say yes.
I think WrestleMania 30 is going to make the list, and it comes down to me. And my first one I'm going to bring up one that I'm fairly certain will make the list because it's people regard it as the best WrestleMania. And I actually finally got around to watching this for this as well, and that's WrestleMania X7. And yeah, like while you do have the gimmick battle royale, which is probably one of the shortest battle royales I've seen in a while, but you've also got like the TLC tag team match between Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys and the Hardys, and Undertaker, Triple H, Stone Cold and The Rock, which was a really good match. And like even the street fight with Shane versus Mr. McMahon, I think was pretty fun as well. And this is just one of those ones where I think every match on the card was either fun or decent, and there wasn't really something I was bored with in this. So yeah, Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania X7?
Yeah, it definitely deserves to be on the list. It's regarded as the best WrestleMania, and for good reason. There's a lot to love about this. I will dispute the only thing that I didn't find fun was China versus Ivory. It was basically a squash match at WrestleMania, and I'm just not a fan of squash matches at WrestleMania. They have their place, just not
like Hayden Chavo.
yeah. And then the gimmick battle royal. It's fun to see all these old like 90s and 80s wrestlers come out. I'm pretty sure the entrances were longer than the actual battle royal itself, and pretty sure the only reason the Iron Sheik won was because he couldn't take a bump over the top rope. Well, you're gonna win, and then I was like, well. Which explains why Slaughter came in afterwards and just started joking him out. But yeah, Undertaker Triple H is really good. They're 3 for 3 at WrestleMania, and then what a moment at the end. Stone Cold, Mr. McMahon. It's really good. It deserves to be on the list.
Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania X7?
Yeah, this is my favorite WrestleMania of all time. It kind of touched me in that 19 and one I'll bring up. Maybe in the middle of those two. What number could that be? But this WrestleMania I think is just a banger. Even the Given Battle Royal I think is made fun by the fact that they know what it is. Bobby Heenan and Mean Gene are really funny, especially Bobby Heenan. Like by the time Iron Sheik comes out, it'll be WrestleMania 38. And it's still a great line. The TLC 2 match is probably one of the best TLC matches of all time. Although there was a match on SmackDown that was my rival at the moment. That match ruled. Rock Austin was fantastic. People WWE like to forget Triple H and Undertaker fought on the show. It seems to be like, oh, like they seem to think that when they fought later on at WrestleMania, oh, it's their first time. No, they had a good match. They had a good match here. It was good. Jericho and Regal. I think it's up and down, a banger of a card. Great atmosphere. The crowd was hot for everything. And yeah, I have to mention, the triple threat hardcore match is better than it has any right to be. Raven almost like cut off the power to the actual arena with the gold card, and so that's right. Yeah, and then he got thrown through a window. He got thrown through a window. It is amazing. Yeah, that match is fun. So yeah, absolutely, it should be yes.
But Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania X7?
Okay, so when it comes to WrestleMania X7, I mean, I think for a lot of people, that's the first one pops in their mind when people think, what's the best WrestleMania? And it's like what everyone has already talked about. Like the hardcore style match had and all the shenanigans afterwards that it was better than it really should have been. Everything from the Hurricane winning it to Mighty Molly whacking him with a frying pan, maybe wins his back in the end. And then a spoiler alert if you didn't know, by 20-something years. But yeah, just so much about that. Undertaker streak still intact. Stone Cold still his sold events. Just everything about it was great. I mean, of course, no, I know it's already mentioned just about every single time, but yeah, TLC 2, easily best match of the night. I think Meltzer should have given him at least 5 stars for that one, but it is what it is. So it's a definite yes for me on WrestleMania X7.
It didn't have Will Ospreay in it.
Hey, he gave the women's triple threat this year 5 stars.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But Jacob, we go back to you. What is the next WrestleMania you can bring up?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going down my list. My top 3 are on, so let's see if I can get my top 4 on. I'm gonna go 31. I thought 31 was fantastic. I thought it was a lot of fun. It kicked off with that ladder match. Daniel Bryan winning the IC title. Anytime Daniel Bryan wins, it's a good moment, especially with the injuries he was dealing with at the time. Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, the one of the best counters into the RKO ever. Triple H defeating Sting is questionable, but I think the match was good. Like the moment, NWO versus Sting, 15 to 20 years too late, was still fun for nostalgia purposes. Fun women's tag between AJ and Paige and the Bellas. John Cena and Rusev was really good. That entrance that Rusev had was fantastic. Undertaker, Bray Wyatt. Shout out to Bray Wyatt for carrying the bill to that match all by himself because Undertaker didn't come back until this night. And they had to stall for time because it wasn't dark enough for Undertaker's entrance because it's the West Coast. You're in San Francisco at 7:00. It's still a little light outside. And then that main event, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, we're having a really good match. Seth Rollins cashing in, the heist of the century. I think top to bottom, everything delivers. It's really good. So 31.
Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 31?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's worthy of this list. I think it's really. I do think it is quite good. I think Undertaker vs Bray Wyatt is underrated. I actually think had Brock not, I think Bray should have been the person to break the streak. I think it makes more sense. But but the match itself is still really good. Triple H Sting, I think the cool thing was seeing Sting at WrestleMania because you didn't think that was going to happen. But yeah, the way they played out was annoying with the commentators going, mentioning WCW a lot. But it was still cool to see Sting, at Mania. And yeah, I thought overall, and the ladder match was really good. And yeah, it's the last time I see Daniel Bryan for a while and wrestling. So yeah, I think for those moments alone, I think it deserves a placement on this list.
Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 31?
Oh, well, okay. Well, first of all, after I say this, I'm going to jump off real quick to jump back on a much better device. Anyways, 31 was also on my short list. It's definitely a fun one. I think the only match that's I would say is forgettable would be Bella Twins versus AJ and Paige. Outside of that, I mean, like the Sting Triple H match. I mean, if anyone knows me, he's my most favorite wrestler of all time. I mean, Sting Mark, and I mean, yeah, it was cheap, possibly. You know what? I still pop for DX and NWO coming out. It's like the one, you know, from the one fight in the Monday Night Wars we never got. Sure, I mean that's not supposed to be the whole center, but you know, it is what it is. Triple H had a great Terminator entrance. Richie, I definitely understand where you come from with the whole Bray Wyatt thing. I've heard it's just reached the point where I'm just accepted for Hawk being the guy, but I think I personally would have been okay with Bray Wyatt being the one to end the streak as well. But overall, great one. You know, Seth Rollins' heist of the century after taking that epic RKO. Everything just felt right about this one, so it's a yes for me.
Yeah.
Damien Sandow should have won that Battle Royal, by the way. Damien Mizdow should have won that Battle Royal. That's the only thing I have to get into.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones I was getting to it. Like, this is the one where like the Battle Royale was sort of moved to the pre-shows, like, and it's kind of I thought, oh yeah, this one's going to move to SmackDown eventually because like, but it's one of those ones. It is what it is, and look, and I think the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match that was on the pre-show, Tyson and Cesaro, Los Matadors, New Day, and the Usos, I think was actually pretty good. Even though like I think Jimmy was taking either Jimmy or Joe was taking out for a good chunk of that match. Yeah, and I also agree with the sentiments. Like, while I've kind of accepted the fact that that Brock did defeat the streak, but I do think Bray Wyatt should have been the one. I don't know if Brock defeating the streak was a Vince decision or if it's because I know there's rumors that Undertaker handpicked Brock to beat the streak, but I don't know how true that actually is.
Apparently, it was the last. According to Undertaker, he's meant to go over, and in the last second, he's like, "No, well, Vince is like, no, Brock's win."
Yeah, Taker definitely called an audible that one because he was just too injured. If you ever see any like the backstage documentary stuff, you can hear Vince yelling that he needs some help in the back because Undertaker actually collapsed when he got backstage.
Yeah, but that being said, like I think WrestleMania 31, I think was great, and I think Bray, like I think the Bray and Undertaker match was better than what it needed. What I thought it was going to be, and yeah, so it's going to be yes for me as well. WrestleMania 31 is going to make the list.
Just a weird trivia fact. It's the second year in a row where Usos and El Matadors are involved in a 4-way tag title match on a pre-show. That's weird. Yeah.
I mean, it's also the second one in a row where Daniel Bryan has the first match on the main card. But Richie, we go back to you. What is the next one you're going to bring up?
Okay, there's still a few good ones here. Yeah, I said I think there's a period of like about 4 or 5 in a row that are just bangers. So I think, and then I need to turn them up. I will go in between 17 and 19 and go 18. You had this is Rock and Hogan, which should have main evented that show. Just the crowd went absolutely nuts. It's just it's all time like iconic sort of moment. And yeah, like the match they produced it was a decent match of what it was. And like you had like Undertaker, Ric Flair was really good. And so RVD, William Regal, really good. IBD winning the Intercontinental title, really good. To Austin and Scott Hall taking one of the best stunners you'll ever see. Just one of the best sellings for a stunner you'll see outside of the movie The Rock. But yeah, and Bullet was great for that. It's just you had Edge versus Booker T feuding over a shampoo commercial. What more would you want? There's a I don't know. I just think it's a really, really solid Mania, and I think in the space of these few years where it was just really solid, they're on a roll here when it comes to WrestleManias around this time. So and actually this WrestleMania spawned its own game on GameCube, which is not bad. So get that going for it.
Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 18?
Okay, first of all, I want to apologize for an incorrect fact that I gave earlier. When we talk about X7, I was getting mixed up. The whole Maven Goldust, all that nonsense. That it was at this one, not at X7. So I do apologize for that incorrect fact. I know Chris Cass is probably yelling at me right now from all the way from Canada. I'm looking at the card now because I'm having to try to remind myself of this. There's all those shenanigans. Ric Flair Taker was decent. We're looking at it now. Yeah, Rock and Hogan was. There were 2 more matches after that. But yeah, that was a good moment. I'm having a hard time with this one, to be honest. I mean, Stone Cold and Scott Hall. Honestly, the only good thing I remember about that was that insane stunner bump that people have made memes out of. The rest of the card, I'm not exactly feeling this. So this is going to be a slight no for me.
Unfortunately, this is not one of the WrestleManias I watched for this. I just looked up a random list of top 12 WrestleManias and tried to watch some of the ones that this list considered the best, and this wasn't high up on that list. So yeah, I'll probably end up watching it eventually. It spins on Spear from the Past, but at the stage, I just haven't seen it. Jacob, what would you have said about WrestleMania 18?
Yeah, I like this one. I just don't think it ever gets to that next level for me. Personally, I think there's a lot of good stuff. I think Rock versus Hogan might be the only great thing about this. Edge and Booker T feuding over a shampoo commercial is weird.
Yeah.
Whatever, cool. And then just I'm looking at it too, and I'm remembering like there's a number of matches that I think could have been given more time. RVD William Regal 6 minutes, DDP and Christian 6 minutes, Edge and Booker T 6 minutes, Stone Cold and Scott Hall only got 10. It would have been a slight no, but I don't. It's not because I don't like the WrestleMania. It's just not in that top 12 for me. I made a list of 20 and it was at 19.
But it was on your list.
It was on my 20, but it wasn't in my 12.
Brandon, what is the next WrestleMania you're going to bring up?
Okay, I had to look through my list real quick because unfortunately I didn't really get around to what I think is the best like I have in previous shows. However, looking at what did make my short list off the top of my head, this one I think is a rather iconic one. We kick things off with tag champion versus tag champion, first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. We get considered one of the best matches of all time between Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. And then Cena and Batista getting their world title moments. I'm saying WrestleMania 21. WrestleMania goes Hollywood.
Everyone seems to be reading my mind. This is literally the one I was going to bring up next. But yeah, no, like, look, this is one of the weirdly enough, when I started getting into wrestling and that, this was one of the first wrestling DVDs I actually bought. I started buying WrestleMania DVDs from this one, like, and but it's one of those ones um, like I bought a lot of these like with pretty good matches, like the John versus John match. I think is is good. Piece of Triple H, I think is good. And yeah, and a lot. I think even the first Money in the Bank match, I think was like a really fun addition to this. And it's one of those ones like I actually really enjoyed. The fake trailers they did for this as well.
Forrest
I
Gump.
know. Look,
No,
you're not expecting like movie
no,
quality
no. I
trailers.
actually like the Forrest Gump. But I mean, I prefer. My favorite's the either the Basic Instinct one or the Pulp Fiction one with Eddie Griffin and
Yeah,
publicity.
yeah. No, um, no. Really enough, I think you're going to make. I thought you were going to disagree with me on that, but yeah, it's just and let's face it, these fake movie parodies were better than the ones they did when they tried recreating.
I don't know. Yeah, that was bad.
I will say the Wayne's Goodfellas one they did for that recent run I think was pretty good though. But
Yeah.
yeah, WrestleMania 21 is going to be yes for me. Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania 21?
Yeah, well, to hear my full thoughts, you can head over to the Lonely March where we talked in length about this WrestleMania. I think it starts off really good. You know, Ray and Eddie, fantastic. Money in the Bank's first one, still one of the best. Undertaker, Randy Orton, made Randy Orton a star. If that was where they wanted to end the streak, I would have been totally cool with that too. I think it would have done wonders for Randy's career. I still think he turned out all right though. Christian and Christie is quite forgettable. Yeah, Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels is one of the best WrestleMania matches. One of the best matches, period. The fact that Kurt Angle does not have a 5-star and it's not this one is blasphemous. Whatever. The sumo match, why did that need to be on WrestleMania? That's kind of the one thing dragging it down a little bit. That and the Hulk Hogan Eugene segment. Looking back,
Oh,
if I put my 2005 glasses on, oh, that's cool. 20 years later, I'm like, oh, that was actually kind of dumb. The what was it? The Piper's Pit segment with Austin and Carlito was pretty fun. And then yeah, I love that it's kind of the passing of the torch. Kind of bringing Batista and Cena's kind of the start of a new era. The matches are they're good. I don't think they're great. I think they're good. But yeah, lots of fun moments, lots of memorable things about this WrestleMania. Another one that's lower on my 12, but I still think there's a lot to love about this one, so I think it should be on the list.
But that WrestleMania.
I think it.
I forgot who brought it up. Richard, what do you say about WrestleMania?
Well, I mean,
Malcolm forgets the Aussie, of course.
well, to forget to hear all my thoughts, head over to Lonely Marks. But yes, this I don't have much money. Shawn Michaels Kurt Angle is fantastic. I don't. Yeah, I could do without the sumo match. I could also do without a close up shot of Big Show's ass. Thank you, Kevin Dunn.
Forever to get going.
But yeah, the actual event itself is really good. Yeah, the John Cena match isn't like it feels like just a sort of Raw match. There's nothing special about it, but it's cool that he won and Batista winning a decent match as well. Yeah, it's a good show. It's quite a good show. That's deserving of this list. There you go. Now you can move on.
But moving on to mine, I'm curious about how this one's going to go because it's one of those ones where I think a lot of people would say this is probably a mid tier WrestleMania, but I actually really enjoyed it. And funny enough, it's another one that has the Usos and Primo and Echo on a pre-show in a tag team match.
God damn.
It's WrestleMania 28, which also really has Daniel Bryan in the opening match, if you can call it an 18-second match. But it's Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. And you had I want to say it was the first. I was either the. I think I'm pretty sure it was the first Rock Cena match. The one they called Once in a Lifetime.
Once in a lifetime.
But yeah, well, yeah, there's some matches that people some people didn't like, because you had the massive match to get to as many people on the card as possible. Team Johnny versus Team Teddy. But Undertaker versus Triple H, 2, I think was pretty good, and I think the Kelly Maria Menounos and versus Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres was better than it should have been. I didn't think I was going to enjoy that match as much as I did, but it is what it is. But Jacob, what are your thoughts about WrestleMania 28?
Yeah, this one's weird. Because I think there's some stuff to love about it. Obviously, Undertaker, Triple H, fantastic. And Rock Cena once in a lifetime. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a fun main event. I think the thing that kind of brings that match down for me is that I don't think the result was ever in doubt. I think The Rock was obviously going over in his home state of Florida. But yeah, there's that women's tag. I get that they want celebrity involvement, but they don't always. Celebrities don't need to be in matches. They can just show up and do stuff. That 12-man tag. It was only 10 minutes. Like, you have a lot of really good people involved there. You can give that more time. Cut the women's match. Give them their 6 minutes. Yeah, Kane Randy Orton was good. Big Show finally getting a WrestleMania moment was cool. I hate the opening. Again, squash matches on WrestleMania should not be a thing. I hated the opening of this. So really, I think that the final 2 matches are really good. I like this WrestleMania, but it's not one that gets to that next level for me. So I'm gonna give it a slight no.
Yeah, and actually, I realised I was wrong when I was saying it's actually Taker Triple H 3's. This is Hell in the Cell match with Shawn Michaels, not the one they did the year before. But Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 28? I think you might have been on Spare from the past when we talked about this, maybe. Or no, I don't think it was.
This is me and
I don't
JP.
think so, but I've seen it, and yeah, it's the opening that brings it down so much. It's like. Yeah, it's not only a squash, it's Daniel Bryan, and the crowd was just like, I think that's the last straw. They were just like, fuck you. And they hijacked the show. This is the start of the WrestleMania thing. And they're like, no, you're going to treat Daniel Bryan better, and we're going to make you treat Daniel Bryan better. And yeah, it hurt James' title run, all things considered. And I think James deserved better too. Like, I think he came across the bag guy. There's a lot of big mixed bag here. Kane and Randy Orton had a good match, but it's not one of his more Randy Orton's memorable matches on WrestleMania or anything like that. Celebrity involvement was whatever. The Big 12 tag I remember from like Eve Torres turning heel on Zack Ryder, kicking him in the dick, and starting off beginning the kind of the cuck storyline between John Cena, Zack Ryder, and Eve. Almost. CM Punk and Jericho is good, and Rock and Cena is good, but when The Rock won, I was like, okay, this is not going to be once in a lifetime. I knew then, I'm like, it's not going to be once in a lifetime. And literally the next night on Raw, they made the magic. I think they made a match for next year's WrestleMania. So yeah, I think overall it's a pretty disappointing WrestleMania. So I'd have to say
no. And Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 28?
Okay, so first of all, Malcolm, I'm going to call you out on something. There was another team in that pre-show match, and It's the greatest one of all time. How could anyone ever forget Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel? You know?
No, I was pointing out the fact there was Usos and the Primo Eco in there again.
Yeah.
I know, but still.
Yeah. I wasn't ignoring them on purpose.
I mean, this one.
I sort of my threes past Justin Gabriel because I just assumed it was Cesaro or something when they teamed up, and I'm like, oh wait, it's Justin Gabriel. Okay, I didn't know that. I forgot about that completely.
Yeah, this one, unfortunately, I mean, it's better than 27. I'll give it that one. And sad to say, 27 was the first one I ever saw live. I hate to say that. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But I mean, Kane Orton was fine. Team Johnny, Team Teddy, just that out of all the matches that were announced, that's probably the one to care less about. Like, I would have looked more forward to the Maria Menounos match than that. But one thing people do forget, Eve Torres actually turned heel well before, what she did the writer at Mania. People do forget that. So, and the whole, Cena and that whole thing. And let's face it, Ryder gets his moment, and he's literally just used to push a storyline between Kane and Cena. But yeah, I mean, there's that. I mean, the Hell in a Cell match, easily the best match of the night. Everyone involved in that match delivered for sure. Outside of that, can't really say too much, so it's a definite no for me.
That's not going to make the list. Jacob, what is the next pay-per-view you're going to bring up?
The next pay-per-view will also be a WrestleMania.
I'm bringing up.
I'm gonna bring up the Royal Rumble.
It's gonna be double or nothing.
I'm gonna go with 39. I thought 39 was excellent. Yeah, I thought night one had a lot to like. Austin Theory and John Cena. Didn't really have huge expectations going into that one. I thought it was good. The tag team showcase was a lot of fun. Street Profits picking up the win. I really enjoyed Braun Strowman and Ricochet as a tag team. I kind of wish that lasted a little bit longer, but unfortunately Ricochet's not even in the company anymore. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul was excellent. It was fun seeing Trish and Lita at WrestleMania again. Ray and Dominic. Finally, Dominic got a victory at WrestleMania. He's not 0-3. So shout out to that. Rhea and Charlotte was fantastic. It's probably my favorite match from night one. It was so good. It's one of my favorite matches of that year, period. We kind of forget about the Miz stuff at WrestleMania. He was a cool host, sure. It's always fun to see Pat McAfee come back. Pat McAfee is excellent. And then seeing Owens and Zayn get the victory, defeating the Usos was cool. Night two, a little bit lower for me. Brock Lesnar and Omos, that has Vince McMahon written all over it. The women's showcase, while I didn't enjoy it as much as the men's, was still pretty fun. Banger of a match between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. That match is fantastic. Anytime those three are in the ring together, you're going to get magic. Bianca Belair, Asuka was really good. Again, we can forget about the Miz stuff. But shout out to Snoop Dogg for coming in after Shane gets her. What a guy. I like the Hell in a Cell between Edge and Finn. I just think the result should have been flipped. I think Edge should have put more people over during his final run in WWE, but whatever. And then Roman and Cody won. Not the result I expected. I think a lot of us expected Cody to finish his story, but it wouldn't happen for another year. But yeah, I think, night one, night two, I think there was a lot to like about this one. So I'll go with 39.
Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 39?
Yeah, I have to say yes. It is a really, really good WrestleMania. I feel like people kind of forget that because they think of, that's when they didn't go with Cody. He didn't finish his story. That'll be that most obvious thing. But to extend it another year, she worked out in the long run, I think. Our Theory and Cena wasn't great, but this is probably when you realize, oh, like Cena's a bit slowing down, but they could have done more with it, I guess. Ricochet and Braun, I kind of wanted them to win the tag titles at some point, maybe in this match, but it was a fun match. Seth Rollins KSI was cool, especially that frog touch the tag table onto KSI or R-Truth. Sorry, Bill. Sorry, JP. That was this one. So that was that was R-Truth. But no, this match is really good. It's cool to see Trish and Lita back in there. That was fun. Ray finally taking on Dominic. That was a good. Ray just being a nasty heel, like throwing water on his sister. Apparently that was improvised as well. Just what a douchebag who's now getting cheered. I know, I like it. This is the Rhea Charlotte. This is Rhea Charlotte. This match rules. This should have also got 5 stars, but this match rules. And then I picked one match for my moment. Was Kevin when we did our draft, is Kevin and Sammy winning the tag titles. Thought that was a really cool story. Thing Night 2 was a bit less so, but you saw the triple threat match that you mentioned. Bianca Belair and Asuka's right. I think this is the WrestleMania that we saw. WWE, you can kind of tell that Miz is in a certain position. I gave up on taking Miz seriously. He got pinned by Snoop Dogg. It's kudos to Snoop Dogg for stepping in when he got injured. Which I'm glad he's all right now. But the way that went down, it kind of looked funny. I'm sorry, it does sound harsh, but that looks funny at the time. I think Edge and Finn Balor was right. Finn Balor the one, and I think Roman Cody was really good, and I thought Cody should have won at the time, but in hindsight, I think it was the right decision. There you go. It was a big weekend.
Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 39?
So WrestleMania 39, that was one of the first ones I thought of. I mean, definitely. I mean, overall, night 1 was definitely stronger than night 2, but night 2 still had its merits. Men's WrestleMania Showcase was great. I do agree Strowman and Ricochet should have had a tag title run. I think their tag team name should have been called The Boy and His Giant. I mean, Rollins, Logan Paul, that was fine. Logan Paul has shown he's got natural talent for this, despite him being, as a person, he is who he is. I wasn't too happy with Damage Control not going over, but not everyone got hurt after that. Dominic Mysterio, I loved his entrance, coming out in handcuffs, escorted by police. I actually kind of like that. Pat McAfee against The Miz. That was at least better than his match against Vince the year before. Undisputed Tag Title match. I mean, one of 2 matches to get a 5-star rating from Big Dog Meltzer. I'm not saying Meltzer is the end all be all or whatever, but it's nice to see him give recognition to anything other than New Japan, AEW, or Will Ospreay in general. So, Lesnar Omos, forget that one. And of course, the triple threat, just Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, just what a match! It was something else. Snoop Dogg can't wrestle, and on with this, I was not happy when Roman went over Cody, but considering what happened the year after, all is forgiven. So it's a yes for me on 39.
Yeah. Once again, very normal going to be the next one. But this is one of those ones I really enjoyed. And it's one of those ones some of the matches are whatever, but I don't know what it is. I've never really been a massive fan of Brock Lesnar. I've never really understood the hype over him. Because as it was, I think 39 is probably the last time we're going to see Brock Lesnar in a WrestleMania in a while.
For a while, I don't know what's happening with that, but
it is what it is, and and 39 is one of the ones that I realized how racist the Miz actually is. I can't remember the last time he actually had a big like world title match or had a really good length of feud going to a Mania. Like he's always been either relegated as the host or was like just not on the card like this year. And now
Hey,
he's just being
he might beat Aleister Black on SmackDown. Sorry, I couldn't say that with a character.
yeah, I don't see him beating unless Mello interferes and helps him out. um, but um, but yeah, I was trying to think of a Mello don't miss joke, but it just isn't.
Miller is really dying for tag team. There you go.
But yeah, so it would have been a yes for me for WrestleMania 39. But here we go to you. What's the next pay per view you WrestleMania going to bring up?
Yeah. Bring up Legends of Wrestling. Heroes of Wrestling. No. You should really do that one to be of the past, by the way. That'd be a watch. I'm going to bring up, because I think we've got to bring up one WrestleMania that had one of the best WrestleMania matches on there. So, WrestleMania 25. This was billed as WrestleMania's 25th anniversary, which is not true. You don't celebrate, your birthday on the day you're conceived. So, no, it's a 24th anniversary. This is one I'm taking. The first I'm taking Shawn Michaels match, which I think is the slightly better of the two. CM Punk winning the Money in the Bank in a really good match. Unfortunately had Santino winning the Mae Young, winning the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. But kind of everything. You had Ricky Steamboat. We had the handicap match with Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat, and Roddy Piper. Had no one had any idea that Ricky Steamboat was that good at his age, and it led to a really good match at Backlash as well. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy had their better match, even though they never had much sort of chemistry when they wrestled each other, but they still had they sort of okay match. Ray and JBL was only significant because it was JBL's last match, and it didn't last that long at all. Matter of fact, lasted 21 seconds. There you go. The Undertaker, I'm taking Shawn Michaels, one of the best WrestleManias of all time. The triple threat between John Cena, Big Show, and Edge. Yeah, thank you. Was still really good, and that's sort of the kind of visual of Cena picking up both Big Show and Edge is amazing. And then Triple H defeated Randy Orton, and it wasn't the greatest match in a while, but it was fine. I think this had the kind of not bad build up either, but I think the positives do outweigh the negatives here. So, and I think we would at least include one of those Triple H, one of those Shawn Michaels Taker matches. So, and I think the first one's the best one. So, and again on the pre-show, the colognes. This was Carlito and Primo though, but fuck, they cannot get off the pre-show. Anyway, we're at 25.
Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 25?
25th anniversary? No, I'm kidding. Makes you wonder how Vince is terrible with numbers, but yet he has millions of dollars. I'll start with the positives. I do think the pre-show tag title match was fine. Primo and Carlito with Miz and Morrison, that was fine. Punk wins his second Money in the Bank contract. He's the only person to win two in the ladder match to this day. I think the build up to Edge Show and Cena was kind of funny, especially when it was revealed that Vicky was cheating on Edge with Big Show. She probably saw that sumo match. Anyways, I'm actually forgetting. Of course, we get Taker, Shawn Michaels, considered by many to be the best WrestleMania match ever. My phone's a piece of crap. I can't bring it up. Here are the issues I've had with 25. I think the most glaring issue with it was the stipulation for Orton versus Triple H. As much as they were trying to kill each other, putting the whole champion gets disqualified and he loses the title. No, this should have been a street fight or a Hell in a Cell match.
Considering the build-up had a home invasion.
Yeah, no, it's like, and home, it just, I mean, attempted murder and just, yeah, all that. Oh my gosh, Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal was such a farce. To me, I think to some people, is a slap in the face to women's wrestling. Beth Phoenix should have won this one instead of Santino Marella wearing whatever that was. And then the 3-on-1 handicap match with Jericho and the Legends. Ricky Steamboat at his age could still go, and that's why he got another pay-per-view match afterwards. Well deserved. I did find it funny about Mysterio squashing JBL and then JBL quits. With that said, overall, it's I can confidently say no to 25.
Yeah, look, this is one I actually and it's one of those ones like I'm honestly surprised this year they didn't go for a whole 40 year of WrestleMania thing like promotion. It's like, maybe in 10 years I'll do a 50-year anniversary on the year before. Look. I think the Money in the Bank ladder match was great. Look, Miss WrestleMania, I thought, look, well, yeah, I wish an actual women's wrestler won it and not Santina Marella, but I still think it was fun. And it weirdly enough, it's one of those ones that I called that Santina was going to win ever since he started doing the whole Santina thing, like a couple of wars before or something. And it's one of those ones like, and I think, and I did really enjoy Matt and the Hardy match. And yeah, and I do actually agree with like Brandon about like Triple H versus Randy Orton. That should have been like a stipulation or something, not just a countdown or disqualification thing. But and you have the moment of John Cena like doing the attitude adjustment to both Big Show and Edge. So yeah, I think I'm one of those ones. I do think the good outweighs the negatives here. So it's a yes for me for WrestleMania 25. Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania 25?
I too think the good outweighs the bad, but unfortunately not enough to get it to the 12 for me. It's just outside. I do like the Money in the Bank, but yeah, the Miss WrestleMania. Sorry, it's stupid. It's not even looking at it like, oh, that was fun at the time. No, it's still not. The Jericho and Snuka was, and Steamboat and Piper was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, especially Steamboat. Yeah, that.
We're supposed to get Jericho and Mickey Rourke.
yeah, right. If we didn't got that, it might have been easier. No. I thought Matt and Jeff was a little underwhelming for me personally. Again, I'm not a fan of short matches at WrestleMania, so I don't like Ray and JBL. I thought whatever. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, yes, one of the best WrestleMania matches. I personally think Streak versus Career is a little bit better. I think that after Undertaker takes that dive over the top rope and nearly kills himself, I think it just kind of kills the momentum of the match for me. There's way too much dead time, pun intended, for that match.
Kills the cameraman.
Yeah.
Or Snuka.
But then, yeah, just unfortunately, Triple H and Randy Orton is just an underwhelming main event because, yeah, there should have been a stipulation. The build was so personal, and we're going to get a straight-up wrestling match. And also, Randy Orton should have won. 2009, Randy Orton is so menacing. Like, he should have won the final shot of WrestleMania 25 should have been Randy Orton holding the title over Triple H's body, and it wasn't. But I still think there's a lot to like about this one, but it's just outside the 12 for me, so I'm going to give it a slight now.
I feel like you're making me believe, Rodney, because is this the one where also like the build up to that match featured him like punching Vince in the head and also like kissing Stephanie?
Kissing his wife,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up wrestling
Yeah.
match.
That should have been. Yeah, I agree. That should have been time to put the title on Orton.
Yeah,
That should have been it.
yeah, because I mean, it's one of those ones like, and I know we're talking about WrestleMania, but going back to that Royal Rumble from that year, like the whole build up of that Rumble was like, if Randy Orton loses the Rumble, he's going to be fired. So I was like, yeah, we know what's going to happen now. And going back to Mickey Rourke, now he was just busy pissing off JoJo Siwa in Celebrity Big Brother. That is the last thing he has done at this stage. But Brandon, what is the next WrestleMania you're going to bring up?
Okay, so for my next pick, it's getting harder because all the ones I thought of are being taken up, which I kind of figured was going to happen. But so this one, I'm going to go a lot further back than we have been all night on this one. Despite the fact that I personally think this guy's the most overrated world champion of all time, this WrestleMania definitely belonged to Bret Hart. His opening match with Owen Hart, winning the title for Yokozuna at the end, and then we also get that amazing ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. So I am going with WrestleMania 10.
Unfortunately, I've seen the Shawn Michaels match. I've not seen the whole WrestleMania, so there's not really much I can say about this. Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania 10?
Owen versus Brett, best WrestleMania opener ever. I think that match is fantastic. The ladder match is really, really good. I think two of the best matches in WrestleMania history. A lot of fun to be had in between. I like Brett. I think I think it's a strange decision to have Yokozuna pull double duty.
As a heel, it's like
as a heel. I thought it would have been a much more interesting decision if you put the title on Lex Luger, give him a run instead of Brett. And then maybe
Agreed.
those two can feud. I'm not sure of the aftermath. I was 5 at the time, so but it is one that I do enjoy revisiting, even if I do think there's some less than stellar things on the undercard. I'm torn. My 10 through 13 is interchangeable, and this is in that spot. So I'm like, do I want this over the other one that's in that spot? I think you have 2 banger matches here, and I think anytime you have 2 bangers, I'll give it a slight yes and leave it up to Richie.
Thank you.
No pressure.
Some wrestlers' names are really interesting. Adam Bomb.
Adam Bomb.
Adam Bomb. Yeah, Brian. Brian Clark. I Adam Bomb. But I like WrestleMania 10. I thought it was probably time I'd bring up a later one. This is the one I was thinking of, as well as one that might be brought up later on. But I like WrestleMania 10 as a whole. It does have, it has certain negatives. Like you could tell, when Lex walked out, that he knew he wasn't going to win the title as well. Didn't look like a guy who was going to be about to be in a world title match. He looked very sad. But I don't know. It would have been cool. And then the finish to the I don't know. And the finish of the Yoko match was with Brett was weird as well. Yeah, but like when you have like you said, when you had two banger matches on the card, there's also Macho Man and Crush had that weird match.
Falls count anyway.
Yeah, where he like ties him, he ties him to like this let's pull a pillar thing and just strangles him up, but like it doesn't really work properly. So he just sort of he just goes the way down. It's funny, but yeah, it's false count anyway. But like you can once you pin the person, you do then it's like I don't know. Then it's like it becomes like a last man standing thing because Macho Man actually gets pinned immediately. It's weird. Uh, it's a weird match, but it's fun. What it is. Yeah, mixed bag, but overall, I think it's one of the better WrestleManias from this era. So I'd say yes.
But Brandon, no, you brought it up. But WrestleMania 10 is going to make the list. But it's back to me, and I don't know how this is going to go, but look, on all transparency, a lot of my matches I'm going to bring up is from like the part, like the later half of the WrestleManias, because I haven't seen a lot of the earlier ones yet. But the one I'm going to bring up is the last time we saw the Andre Battle Royale on a WrestleMania. It was just gradually moving up the card, until it was number one on the pre-show. But yeah, it was like this is this is one of those ones I really did enjoy. So I think Seth Rollins versus The Miz and Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship thing was good. Charlotte Flair and Asuka I think was actually a really good match.
So what number?
Was that?
What number WrestleMania is this?
I thought I said it. 34.
Yeah.
It's the fatal four-way for the United States Championship. Jinder Mahal, Orton, Bobby Roode, and Rusev. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Steve McMahon is what it is. But I personally enjoyed it. And guess what? The Usos wasn't on the pre-show this time. They actually was on the main card. But we had the Usos versus Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day in a triple threat tag match. We had the really short Undertaker John Cena match, which I would have loved to see a longer match of. And I thought Nia versus Alexa was good. And Brock versus Reigns, I do think it was a really good match. And I look, I know Cesaro and Sheamus shouldn't have lost the tag team match here, but I do think Braun Strowman and Nicholas versus Cesaro and Sheamus was more fun than it needed to be. Good on Nicholas for having a WrestleMania moment. Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania 34?
Yeah, okay. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. I think there's some fun moments. I think you started off really strong with that IC triple threat. Seth Rollins, Miz, and Finn. Shout out to them. Charlotte beating Asuka, like Asuka was still undefeated going back to her NXT days, and I don't think this was the time to end that. I think that was not a great booking decision. The only thing I remember from this Fatal 4-Way was no, I don't think it was this one. Just kidding. But let's give Jinder don't hinder Jinder. So it's fine. I personally think the best match on the card was the mixed tag, Kurt and Ronda versus Triple H and Stephanie. I think Ronda and Triple H had some nice moments. Cool to see Harper and Rowan get the tag team titles, but the match was much too short. You should have given them a lot more time. I also would have liked to see the Undertaker and John Cena get a lot more time. All the pre-match stuff, it was a lot longer than the actual match itself. It's weird seeing John Cena get squashed at WrestleMania. Awesome to see Daniel Bryan back in the ring. That was fantastic. I love that. I mean, yeah, like just the rest of the card after that was, Shinsuke going heel, low blow, and AJ Styles after the match. It's okay though. His career's been fine since then, right? Shinsuke, he's done all right, right? I think he should have won the title personally, but yeah, and then you could have had so many people team with Braun Strowman. You could have had some call-ups. You could have had some debuts, but he picks the referee's son because why not? And then they just vacate him immediately, so it means nothing because he's got to go back to fourth grade. And
Vince hates tag teams.
yeah, this one, I said, there's some fun moments. I do think, Braun and Nicholas, I think it's fun. I don't think it's WrestleMania worthy. I think it's a fun moment, but yeah, not at your biggest show of the year, and not at the expense of one of my favorite tag teams, please. So it's going to be a no, but I get the love for it.
Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 34?
Could you imagine how many birthday party invites he would have gotten after winning the tag titles though when he came back to school? Oh yeah, man, I know Nicholas. Oh yeah.
Why didn't you do your homework? I had the title defense. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. He should later in life he should team with Brody Lee Jr. They have very similar trajectories. Yeah, I don't mind this Mania, but there were some decisions that were. I actually think it's cool. Like Matt won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and then that's when Bray Wyatt sort of turned babyface and they became a team. I think that team was cut short too long, too soon, too soon. I thought that was really good. I think Cedric and Mustafa Ali should be on the main card. That if you go to that match, that match rules. This was also when they had that controversy of they needed to scrap the name Fabulous Moolah Women's Battle Royal, and so for a while they had a trophy, but it was like a G-string, it was like a thong. It looked ugly as hell, but it was cool. Yeah, it was. It was cool. Like Naomi won. I wish. She's been. I think she's just one of those people that kind of it's a good hand, but I wish she would they would elevate her just to one of the better women in wrestling. Seth, the triple threat match is really good. This is where I started to believe that Charlotte maybe, I don't know, maybe because she's a Flair, she got pulled. I think she politics sometimes. I don't know. This doesn't make sense for Charlotte to win. Doesn't make sense. I mean, and then I haven't really been a huge fan since then. And then Charlotte Tiffany match, later on, not very good either. And I feel like this got Charlotte politicking. Honestly, Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey. I think it's still Ronda Rousey's best match she's had in wrestling. Honestly, it is weird how she regressed during her career as opposed to getting better. And yeah, I think Undertaker the match didn't go as long as you'd want to because Undertaker couldn't go at this point, so they did an angle out of it. And Nia Jax being a babyface is kind of cool. She was kind of over. I don't know if they'll ever go back to that at some point, but yeah, her babyface run didn't last long. She would be healed right after Money in the Bank, which was a couple months later. But I do I didn't mind that match. I think it was one of the better matches. Yeah, Braun Strowman and Nicholas was stupid. It made Cesaro and Sheamus look like geeks, especially considering they had the titles for that long. And Brock and Roman, they wrestled each other so many times at Mania that I did these blend into one another, but sure it was fine, but the crowd were kind of probably apathetic. And AJ and Nakamura was disappointing given probably our expectations, and that they never really had a great match. And I think Nakamura should have won. So, in some eyes, I like the set. The set's cool, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah. Yeah, and as well as I'm just quickly going back to John Cena. I don't know what I wonder. I don't know why they didn't try doing John Cena and Undertaker earlier when Undertaker was in his prime. Like they probably would have been a really good match.
They did have a match at Vengeance 2003.
Well, yeah. Because, I mean, that was really early on John Cena. Because I know that it had that match at Vengeance, but I was talking about like
You'll
WrestleMania
see
match earlier than
Yeah.
this. But because I think the whole lead up to that match was John Cena goes like, "I've never faced the Undertaker at Mania," like calling him out on the titles.
And then just hanging out in the crowd. So, yeah,
Yeah,
just
he
wait.
is like he just bought a ticket that's like, you know what, I'll just go out and get this match.
Yeah.
But Brad, what do you say about WrestleMania 34?
I mean, this is a hit or miss one, in my opinion. The opening triple threat was great. For the women's WrestleMania Battle Royal, like, yeah, the controversy of the Fabulous Moolah, it's really not that hard to properly rename it, and my suggestion would be the China Memorial Battle Royal, but like they're gonna listen to the fans at that time. But I wouldn't call whatever you called the description was Richie of that trophy. It was definitely something more internal. Anyways, yeah, pretty much just like, oh my gosh. The Strowman Nicholas thing, like, it was funny at first. Looking back on it, it's just like, wow, that was a. If you didn't know Vince hated tag teams, you do now. I would have guessed that his partner would have been either Big Show or James Ellsworth. If I remember correctly, we started going through the crowd. I remember actually seeing No Way Jose in the crowd, so I thought maybe he was going to be. I was thinking, is he going to go with No Way Jose? Thankfully, no. But yeah, that was a little hit or miss thing. Brock and Roman. No one wanted that main event. I mean, for me, as a hometown boy, I've kind of sort of known him since high school, but yeah, that I didn't want to see that main event. I'm like, sorry, dude. I mean, ultimately, with all the backlash, the right decision was to go ahead and keep the title on Brock. I do think Nakamura should have won the WWE title, for sure. The heel turn was still fun, though, and even though that was his heel turn was basically his like main tactic of getting one over on someone for a while. It's like, for crying out loud, someone get AJ Styles a cup, but yeah, it's a very, 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 very slight no for me.
Given you both live in Pensacola, have you ever run into Roman Reigns?
I mean, he doesn't live here anymore. I believe he lives in Tampa, but I mean, I've crossed paths with him a couple times. Numerous times I've crossed paths with the Usos and Naomi. All of them, all three of them are super cool. Naomi is a lot shorter in person than I thought she was.
Yeah.
Like, the woman's only like 5'2".
But Jacob, what is the next pay-per-view you're going to bring out?
Yeah, I'm going to go with WrestleMania 20. I think WrestleMania 20 is really, really good. Kicking it off with John Cena winning his first singles title, defeating Big Show in one of the better openers, in my opinion. You had a couple of fun Fatal 4-Ways, Fatal 4-Way tag matches for the different tag titles. I love RVD and Booker T as a tag team. I thought they were a lot of fun. Christian and Chris Jericho was really good with Trish Stratus added in. Evolution, Rock and Sock was fantastic. I was kind of hoping we could at some point get just a straight up one-on-one between Randy Orton and The Rock. I thought that would have been fun. The Playboy evening gown match. Okay, yeah, sure. The Cruiserweight Open match, I'm pretty sure going 1,000 miles an hour. They just don't slow down. But I think it was a lot of fun. Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, probably, not lived up to the expectations that the fans had put on it, but, Stone Cold rectified that by, stunning both of them. So, a man of the people. yeah, a fun hair versus title, Victoria and Molly Holly. I thought was fun. I thought that should have been given a little bit more time, but I thought it was fun for what it was. Eddie and Kurt, two of the best to ever do it, had a banger of a match. Cool fun to see the Undertaker return as the Dead Man. I thought he had a fantastic entrance, even if the match was, so. I thought the entrance and seeing him back as the Dead Man was really cool. And then that triple threat between Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Name Redacted was one of the best WrestleMania matches. And that moment at the end with the two embracing is still such an iconic moment. Say what you want about Name Redacted, separate art from the artist. It's still such a good moment, such a good match. And yeah, I think 20 is deserving of a top 12 placement.
Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 20?
And how many spots do we have left?
4.
I'm just going to scramble to find another one because you fucking stole my next pick. Yeah, because obviously WrestleMania 20 is great. It's fantastic. In the end, yeah. Somebody won a triple threat match. I don't know who that was. Name of the day.
Was it Vacant?
It was Vacant. He's really good. He's he's right up there with to be announced, and yeah, or mystery partner. Just been great. Yeah, but I love the WrestleMania. I think it's fantastic. Eddie and Kurt is one of my favorite WrestleMania title matches. I just think the ending is really entertaining as well. Though the boot falls off and he cheats. I think that's just I love that. Yeah, I everything. Yeah, kind of just everything Jacob said about the WrestleMania. I think it hits. Yeah, Christian Neil, and then making out with Christian. I'm sure that was look. Even though he's a married man, I'm sure it's like it's like, hey, we've got this storyline for you, and this is where it's going to end up. Look, I don't hate it. I'm just going to ask my wife, but look, I would definitely, yes, absolutely. I get to make out with Trish Stratus, absolutely cool. But yeah. So no, I think it's definitely up there. So yeah, sure.
Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 20?
So WrestleMania 20, it's not one of the ones I thought of. However, looking back on the card and the history on it, the Fatal 4-Ways were fun. That emotional ending with Eddie and the Rabid Wolverine, Benoit, whatever you want to call him. Definitely an emotional moment. Both definitely deserve their victories for sure. Eddie and Kurt. I mean, just about any WrestleMania match Kurt Angle has had has always been a banger. Like, you're guaranteed to get a WrestleMania quality match from Angle at Mania. This was the one where Molly Holly had her head shaved, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was an interesting stipulation. I'm not used to seeing that title versus hair stipulation with women, and then the challenger loses. So I thought that was kind of interesting in that moment. Chris Jericho, Christian, it was a fine feud. I think there was a lot of men who didn't like the ending of it just because they were not Christian himself for obvious reasons. Overall, I think the card was pretty good. Cena getting his first victory for the U.S. title, so I'm gonna give 20 a yes.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that I didn't put on my list because I didn't think I'd seen it. But now looking at this and thinking about some of those moments, I'm pretty sure I've seen it. But it's just been a while since I have, if I have. Because I know I've seen the Chris Benoit Triple H Shawn Michaels match before, whether it was on one of Triple H's DVDs or one of those ones, but yeah. From what I remember enjoying it. And I do think it's a lot of fun and yeah. like name redacted an underrated champion. He's up there with vacant.
Vacant. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go yes to WrestleMania 20. So WrestleMania 20 is going to make the list.
I totally forgot Sonic Hardy and Rikishi were tag champions at this time, by the way. Totally just.
But if that, Rich, we go back to you. What is the next WrestleMania you're going to bring up?
That's a good question. Yeah. Look, I might go back again in a bit of the way back machine and see what you think. But I think this has enough sort of moments on it to kind of warrant its inclusion. And one I watched recently recently-ish for Lonely Marks. I'm going to go WrestleMania 14. It's you had the main event of Austin and Shawn Michaels, Mike Tyson, the referee. This was significant because it was for a while there. It led up to Shawn Michaels' first retirement because, he badly injured his back the couple months prior when he took a bad bump in the corner of a casket. And it sort of just represented the passing of the guard and the Tyson punch to Shawn Michaels at the end is great, and then just JR's call makes it also much better. You had the first Undertaker and Kane match where it sort of proves that you can beat a sort of guy sort of debuting but still make him look strong, and I think they did that with with 3 tombstones. And I think it was very kind of successful, and so I think this was the first time Pete Rose. This is the first time Pete Rose would run into Kane and have his funny ordeal with him. I thought he was one of the actually better celebrity sort of contributors to wrestling. So I wasn't mad when he got in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I just think it's just it's a more. I think it's up there for moments more so than the actual maybe your actual sort of quality of matches. But I do think I think it deserves to be sort of up there. You got Triple H and Owen Hart was decent, although it had a really stipulation of China was handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter, who was a commissioner at the time. She ended up breaking the cuffs anyway. So, and then Mark Murray versus the artist formerly known as Goldust, which there was that weird time. The Rock and Ken Shamrock, which they would often have good matches, although it was by DQ. The DQ finishes are kind of like Jacob's issues with short matches, with squash matches on WrestleMania. It should be probably should be definitive. But you also had a very, very kind of memorable tag match between Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie versus the Outlaws when they won the tag titles. And in that dumpster match, I think that's going anyway to see as well. I think it's quite a fun match. So look, I think it's again. We've gone through all these other things. I think most of them are a mixed bag, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives, and it just has some of the best moments that get replayed, throughout WrestleMania history. So I don't know. I'm going to take Mick on for WrestleMania 14.
Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 14?
So WrestleMania 14, a part of me feels bad for leaving this one out. Didn't make my short list. Looking at the card right now, the first half just does not look that impressive to me. And okay, I'm just gonna admit right now. I'm looking at Wikipedia. I have no recollection of China being handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter.
I do because I watched. I mean, that's unfair.
But it's did that really happen, or was someone messing with Wikipedia?
No. She did because
it happened.
It was Sergeant Slaughter's idea for her not to be involved, but I don't know why she wasn't just handcuffed to the ring post. I don't know why he had handcuffed to her. Anyway, it didn't work.
Who knows? Golly, I think everyone forgot about this. Mark Maron Sable against Goldust and Luna Vachon, which that dynamic between Goldust and Luna Vachon just makes me shudder. The Rock in the IC title picture. He was disqualified, so he lost the title. You won't see that too often. Dumpster match, that was fun. You're dealing with New Age Outlaws and then two of the biggest hardcore guys. Undertaker and Kane, that feud was fun. And then Stone Cold finally, getting his moment. Mike Tyson counts the 3 and punches out Shawn Michaels. Overall, the second half is strong enough for me to give it a slight yes.
Unfortunately, this is another one of those WrestleManias I just didn't get to. Some of it does sound interesting, and once again, at least one or two of these matches, I think I might have seen on one of those wrestling combination DVDs they used to do. But yeah, I can't really have any. I don't really have much thoughts on this. Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania 14?
Yeah, I'm looking at the card and I'm remembering this is one that I go back to very often during WrestleMania season. I think those first 5 matches are all kind of forgettable. And yeah, I despise DQ finishes on pay-per-view. Especially WrestleMania. Like this is where we should have a definitive winner finish. Like the dumpster match is fun. I think Undertaker and Kane went on a little bit too long. I think you could have cut a couple minutes off. The main event is great. Kind of the kickoff of the Attitude Era. But I think in this case the lows outweigh the highs for me personally. So I'm going to give it a slight no.
That WrestleMania 14 isn't going to make the list. Brandon, we go back to you.
A second. Always good to stay hydrated. So, in my short list, I only have one left, and this one I'm not feeling as confident about getting added in. This was back when they're still doing the entire WrestleMania in just one day. This was, I believe, holds the record for longest. Whatever. Including pre-show, it was 7.5 hours. That was quite a marathon. Shout out to my friend Derek Diamond, invited me over to his place, and we watched the whole thing from pre-show to end. We were exhausted. It was a great time to get to know each other better and catch up on things or whatever in between matches, or it was during a match we didn't care for. So we made it through. Let's see here. First moment that really made me happy was Kurt Hawkins. His losing streak finally came to an end when he and Ryder won the Raw Tag Titles off of the Revival, with Hawkins getting the pin. Let's skip Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That's just used to push the feud between Strowman and a couple of Saturday Night Live comedians. That was a huge waste, for sure. Rollins versus Lesnar, super short, but I still think it's fun. It's like, okay, 30 seconds in, not doing good. Let's just go for the low blow. What else was there? I think so far this was Aleister Black's only Mania match. Hopefully he'll start getting more starting next year. We'll see. I actually kind of liked Shane versus Miz, the Falls Count Anywhere. I think they made the right decision to have the Iconics win the women's tag titles. That was definitely the best time for them to get it. Can't forget Kofi Mania. Easily the most over Kofi's ever been his entire career. Roman versus Drew was a great comeback for Roman. He wasn't immediately thrusted into the title picture when he came back from his fight with leukemia. Balor coming back as the Demon to take on Lashley. Winner takes all triple threat in the end. First time women has ever main evented WrestleMania. It wasn't as great as I was hoping it would be, but I think a part of it was just exhaustion from watching 7 hours of wrestling already at that point. But for the most part, I feel like it did deliver despite the botched finish. So, WrestleMania 35 is what I'm going to try for.
Um, it was fun trying to work out what number it was as you go for the cards. I'm not gonna lie. This is like but anyway. Yeah, no, like this is I definitely remember this one being like just throwing everything on this card. Is like and yeah, it's one of those ones I definitely do remember watching. And yeah, and I think it's one of those ones I think is a fun match. I think it was definitely the most that they've ever had on a pre-show as well, like 4 matches. But yeah, um, I will happily give this a slight yes. Jacob, what do you say about WrestleMania 35?
Yeah, it's too long. 16 total matches, 12 matches on your main card. Yeah. I'm as much as I was a fan of seeing Seth Rollins win the title, it's like it's less than a 3 minute match. And I think it's a good moment to open Mania, but like your opening match, I think I think needs to be a little bit more. Um, Looking at the rest of the card, like I do think Shane and the Miz is one of the better matches on the card. Like shout out to them. I think they made the Falls Count Anywhere stipulation really work. Love seeing the Iconics win the women's tag team titles. Kofi Mania, such a good moment. I love that. Not a big fan of Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio again. Squash matches. I don't think there's a place for him on WrestleMania. I don't like it, especially when the two involved can really work, like Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio. Shout out to Rey Mysterio. He's been doing this for like 30 years and he's not slowing down. Although maybe he should slow down because then he wouldn't get injured the day before WrestleMania. So maybe slow down a little bit.
He did. I don't even know what he did to injure his groin. I think he just fucking was just like walking around and then screwed it. I don't even know. I don't even know if he did a move.
Yeah.
He's not Kevin Nash.
Look, we all know that Rey Mysterio was just too intimidated by facing El Grande Americano. He just wanted to get himself
yeah.
You just can't help facing the luchador better than him.
Ouch. It'd be terrible if like they unmatched. It'd be funny if once Americano gets unmatched, it's actually Charlie Haas.
It's actually not. Yeah. Triple H and Batista was weird. I strangely love it though. It's kind of a weird match to be Batista's last match. It's kind of some of the things they did. But hey, Triple H gave him what he wanted. I hate that Kurt Angle's retirement match is against Baron Corbin. There could have been a number of other people.
Like Chad Gable.
Chad Gable. Always love seeing the Demon, and at WrestleMania, like what a spectacle. And then love seeing the women finally main event a Mania. I don't think it's the 10th best WrestleMania match in history. Like the WWE seems to think. It's a great moment, fantastic moment, historical for sure. But the match is just it's a little underwhelming in that finish. I do think the good outweighs the bad. It is on my list of 20, but it is just outside that 12. I'm gonna give it the slightest of no's, but if it makes the list, I'm not going to be upset.
Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 35?
Yeah, there's things that are frustrating in this card, but there's things that are also quite good. And then where sometimes even though you're still making decisions like the fan that the fans can make a difference. And when regards to Kobe Mania, that felt very natural. It also felt very natural. He took on Daniel Bryan, another guy who people had to rally behind in order for WWE to be like, okay, fine. But yeah, so I think that moment itself is almost worthy of this list. And then yeah, like I don't think the triple threat match is fantastic or anything. And then like yeah, it sucks that like the ending sequence of that match is Ronda not getting her shoulders down properly. But hey, but I think the moment there is still quite, it's still good. Yes, Shane and Miz was surprisingly decent. Triple H Batista went too long. That match went on for ages, but Triple H matches tend to around this time. I remember the Triple H's Mad Max entrance, which was fucking weird. If you go online, you can see actually, you can hear audio of Batista actually going, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." He's actually marking out, like, but I will give it a slight yes.
That WrestleMania 55 is going to make the list. We've got 2 spots left. Just because I'm not too sure how my other matches is going to go, I'm just going to bring this up because I kind of want to talk about it anyway. Look, I don't think it's going to make the list because I know how some people feel about this year's WrestleMania. But it's one of those ones like I do. While I don't think it was as bad as some people have you believe, it also wasn't as good as it could have been as well for Mania. Because it's one of those ones like I thought like John Cena, Cody Rhodes. It's one of those matches that is both bad and good in various different ways. There's like it's one of those ones like John Cena's promo sort of leading up to it was that he was doing wrestling and that so it's one of those ones like I'm not too surprised that the match that he gave the fans was like not a one that it is going to be a loved Cena match is what probably one of his lesser matches. But I think it's one of those ones I thought like potentially was kind of planned to be that way, but and also as well as ones like well yeah, Rock has kind of said that there was no plans for him to appear at Mania and all that.
That's bullshit. I don't buy that at all. That is shirt.
Yeah.
Those shirts.
I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. But it's also one of those ones. I think it works for the story because like Cena, like obviously, like Cena was like not wanting to give the fans what they want, and the fans were expecting the Rock to show up, but Travis Scott turns up instead, subverting their expectations. And it's about and a lot of the other matches I thought was fun. Like it was, even though it was a squash match, I think it was fun seeing Joe Hendry pop up on Mania. And like no one ever expected whoever was going to end up facing Orton to win anyway. But I thought it was a good moment for Joe Hendry, and I like judging from what Triple H has kind of said in interviews and stuff. Like it's not going to be the last time we see Joe Hendry in Mania. He's going to pop up again at some stage, maybe as a WWE wrestler as well.
He'll sign.
But
they'll sign him eventually.
But Jacob, you and Richie had a whole show when you talked about WrestleMania 41. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I think night one was a little mid. Night two was fantastic. I think if you put the main event of night one on night two and put the I think night two is fantastic, top to bottom, one of the best nights of wrestling. But yeah, night one just kind of fell a little flat. I think Jay and Gunther was fine. The finish, but I absolutely seeing Jay win the title. Absolutely the right decision. But yeah, that I think you really got to stick the landing too. You know, you got to nail the ending, and I don't think they did. I think John Cena wrestled the match that he said he was going to give us, but that doesn't mean it was good and what we wanted. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, but yeah, like the main event. Are you flipping me off?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you talking to me or?
No.
No, I was moving my glasses up. And
I was saying, I'm just scratching my nose.
No.
no, I said to JPO once as well.
Yeah, and then when your main
JPO,
event,
you would be flipping off.
yeah, when your main event ends with outside interference from a celebrity that just about nobody wants involved, it kind of leaves a sour taste. So while I don't hate it, I don't love it, and there's nothing like the two triple threats are fantastic. And shout out to Dominic, and shout out to Joe Hendry, who got the loudest pop of the weekend. But yeah, right now I don't think there's enough for me to put it top 12. So I'm gonna say no.
Richie, what do you say about WrestleMania 41?
My problem is it's too recent for me to kind of even consider it. I'd have to mull on it for a bit while. I'm sort of on the camp. I liked it more as well, but you can see the issues. I think the Cena Cody match was marred by the fact I think the absence of the Rock hurt that match, and I don't buy his excuses. I think he changed his mind or some scheduled thing happened, and instead of just saying that, he decided to make things up. There was Jay beating Gunther. I think that was expected, and it's a cool moment. But yeah, probably should have stayed a bit longer in that joke. And yeah, I was disappointed in this is where I sort of really not becoming a Charlotte fan. I feel like they clearly don't had a bit of there's a bit of friction tension there going into it, and I don't know. I just feel like maybe Charlotte wasn't playing ball here, and it just made I think Tiffany tried her best. She's a game. I do like Tiffany a lot. I think she's a good worker. I don't think they had great chemistry, and I think I just given a track record, I'm starting to blame Charlotte. But the triple threat matches were fantastic. I thought they were really good. AJ and Logan Paul was good, but didn't get to that sort of great level where you think, oh man, these guys could do really great things. It was fine. I would have to give it I'll have to give it a slight no. And Travis Scott really should probably just cut a promo explaining why you're getting involved. What is your deal here? But yeah, apparently, believe rumors. I don't know how they're going to do this, but Bad Bunny might get involved somehow. Just
yeah. I'm totally expecting them to announce Travis Scott as the mystery celebrity DLC on the first 2K25.
I'm sure it will be. I'm almost sure it will be. Either that or Cardi B or someone.
Oh no, Cardi B might be one of the later ones when around the time that gets released around the time of SummerSlam. But Brandon, what are your thoughts about WrestleMania 41?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Richie. It's a little too recent. Unfortunately, Cody and Cena. That was I actually looked at the ratings earlier today. I think Meltzer gave that the lowest rating of the night. It was this isn't good. And the fact that Cena needs help from Travis Scott just to win is ridiculous. And I agree with his meme I saw the other day, and that's Travis Scott should only be back a lot in WWE if he defends that hardcore title that he keeps toting around with himself. No, it was nice to see Dom get that victory, and then obviously there's gonna be more dissension with him pinning Finn. No, Jacob Fatu. I mean, that was a foregone conclusion for him to win the U.S. title. As much as I like LA Knight, I definitely popped when Joe Hendry showed up. I did not think it was going to be him at all. I was thinking initially it was going to be Ludwig Kaiser, considering he spent weeks complaining about not being on the card, only for him to not show up at all. So I thought it was going to be Kaiser, but only be taken out by returning Rusev or Aleister Black. Kind of glad that didn't happen, but I also did hear rumors they were trying to set plans for Joe Hendry to actually defend the TNA title at Mania, but it fell through. Unfortunately, the rumor was his opponent was going to be The Miz, which I'm not sure how that would have worked out. But I would have been fine with it just for the sake of not only Joe Hendry being on the card, but for it would have been the first time in Mania history that a title not under the WWE banner would be in any capacity would be on the line. So I would have liked that. I mean, overall, and then the women's triple threat. First of all, congratulations to Io, Bianca, and Rhea for getting. I believe they're the first women to get a 5-star rating from Meltzer under the WWE banner. But yeah, that was fantastic, well deserved for sure. But really, because of the recency thing, I'm just going to just give it a slight no as well.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't expect it to make on. And just quickly, I wouldn't be too surprised for the promos that Charlotte and Tiffany were doing on each other, like leading up to the match, kind of hated the match, especially the one that they took personal shots at each other. And from what I'm hearing now is apparently the roast that they did at WrestleMania, I think it was either before or after Mania, had a lot of personal shots. That's what they seem like. I don't know if it's people taking the roast over the top. But yeah. Jacob, what is the next WrestleMania you're going to bring up?
Yeah, I'll see how this one goes. I might be in the minority on this one, but I think this WrestleMania is fantastic. It's WrestleMania 26. I think 26 is really good. You start off with a decent tag team match. Show Miz defeating Morrison and R-Truth. I wish it would have gotten a little bit more time, but it is what it is. You finally see Legacy implode. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase Jr. Decent triple threat. I think get a fun Money in the Bank ladder match. Looking back, maybe Jack Swagger wasn't the best choice to win, but I still think the match itself was a lot of fun. Triple H versus Sheamus was also really good. I think it's an underrated WrestleMania match. Ray and Punk. My only gripe, again, give them a little bit more time. You have two really good workers involved. Give them a little bit more time. But I still think it was really good. Bret Hart versus Mr. McMahon did not happen. That didn't happen. We can skip over that. Chris Jericho and Edge, I thought was really good. The 10 Divas, give them some time. It is what it is, but I think John Cena and Batista was a lot of fun. And then in my opinion, one of the best WrestleMania matches, probably my favorite WrestleMania main event, for sure. The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, streak versus career, and Shawn Michaels calling it quits, and he almost kept his word until the Undertaker goaded him out of retirement for that match. That also didn't happen. That one definitely did not also happen, but shout out to Shawn for actually staying retired for the most part after he said he's retired, unlike some other wrestlers who it's my retirement match. Oh, TNA, you got some money for me? Okay. But I think it's a really decent WrestleMania. It's towards the bottom of my 12, but I think there's enough here to love that it's at least worth bringing up.
Look. Isn't it me first, and then?
I was getting there.
Oh, sorry. You go. Sorry, I thought you were going.
Don't interrupt the host.
What do you say about WrestleMania?
No, what were you going to say before that? I won't interrupt you.
No, I I didn't even know where I was going.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, again, I'm gonna have to find something else to bring up because I was gonna bring up this up next. Yeah. Yeah. I guess if the like the also has Sean Taker on it, and it's really good. Gotta bring it up. Yeah. I kind of the triple threat with Randy Orton's really good. I would argue maybe Cody and Ted DiBiase could get more out of it if they won. But Cody ended up being all right. Ted DiBiase, I don't know what he might be. I don't know if he's doing all right. Maybe in jail. I don't know. But yeah, out of the competitors in the match, in the Money in the Bank match, I don't think Jack Swagger was the best choice. Actually, even had Drew McIntyre in there, who I believe was he still like the chosen one, Drew McIntyre, or was he like three and B Drew McIntyre at this point? I don't know.
I think he was somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That, honestly, probably going through this list, he's like, the last one I'd choose. But he's definitely a Jim Ross WWE guy, so it's not surprising. Triple H and Sheamus is a really good match. Yeah, I think it gets forgotten about. Ray and CM Punk, yeah, I agree. It sort of need more time, but like two really good workers. I liked the CM Punk Straight Edge Society. Give McCrane's time. Bret Hart and McMahon. Look, it happened. Okay, it happened. We all bore witness to it, and yeah, of course, and then he won the United States title. Yeah, Jericho. I know. Jericho beating Edge again. Some sort of forgotten world title match. That's really good. It's good chemistry, obviously, for champion. Once again, unfortunately, it's just like a women's match just to get women on the card. It was sort of forgettable. John Cena and Batista always had good chemistry, so it was a good championship match. And yeah, the no disqualification Street vs. Career is really good. Not as good as the year prior, in my opinion, but it's still a great match, and it rightfully main evented the show and went 24 minutes exactly. So that's really good. So yes, I would say this.
Should have went 26 minutes.
I'd say 25.5, but what hairs.
But Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 26?
So 26, it is an interesting one. First of all, in the pre-show, Yoshitatsu wins the Battle Royal. This is in a match. We had people like Slam Master Jay, and you have Funaki and the Kung Fu Naki gimmick. Because according to Vince McMahon, racism is funny. Showmiz versus Truth and Morrison. Showmiz, yeah, absolutely should have gone over like they did. Legacy implodes. Great place to do it. Ending it with HBK, Street versus Career with Undertaker. That was definitely the right move to go with on that one. Cena Batista, I think that was a good part of the feud. Continuing on past Mania, but very well into over the limit with that I Quit match. Overall, 26 was decent. There are other parts that weren't so great. Just like Brett versus Vince. Again, just like Jacob said, that never happened.
Yeah,
Crying out loud, that never happened. Vince trying to make himself look like the good guy, and stupid. And the women literally were just given a 10-woman tag match for people to have their pee break. Unfortunately, thankfully. Eventually it took a while, but people actually like and respect women's wrestling now. Back in 2010, they definitely did not. So I'm going to give 26 a very slight yes.
I do remember watching WrestleMania 26, And yeah, it's one of those ones like Yoshitatsu winning the Battle Royal was kind of a weird decision because I don't think that he was ever like they ever had any plans with Yoshitatsu other bit.
I don't think they had many plans for many people in this battle royal. To be fair,
Look, and it was one of those ones like in my opinion, they should have had Zack Ryder win because I think like because I think this was about the time I think he was doing his Long Island IC around this time. So I think it would have been a good moment for him if they'd like let him like win the Battle Royal. And to answer your question, virtually about Drew McIntyre, he wouldn't have been 3MB yet because was about a month after NXT started. So like it would have been, I think it was a little bit later in the year when 3MB came about.
so it might have been like when he was maybe teaming with
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes or something.
Yeah, because it might have, yeah.
Oh no, it wouldn't be good, but yeah.
Yeah, but like it's one of those ones. I enjoyed a lot of these matches on the card, and I think it was the fun. So I'm also going to give this a slight yes. So WrestleMania 26 is going to make the list. But see, we go to you. Do you have the WrestleMania that's going to take the last spot?
I will try. Let's go. Let's go WrestleMania 22. I seem to remember it being a really good Mania, especially for the, it's weird because when you think of like, WWE's treatment of women at the time, you think, most of the time they're going to have really bad matches. No, when that, sometimes they're in a mood and they'll try and build up good storylines for the women, especially this one, which was the Mickey and Trish. Yeah, which it was just a really good match and really good storyline. And I prefer the uncut version when she goes, that one, which you don't see in the network anymore. But it's actually a really good match. It's just a good, they clearly had a huge plans. You could tell they had big plans for Mickey at the time. Getting that spot that early on. And yeah, it was a really, really good feud and really, really good match. Obviously, you have to have a battle royal at the start of a thing. Viscera won into a promotional battle royal. RBD winning in the Money in the Bank in a really good match, and he would finally. Which would culminate in finally getting his moment. Short-lived, but that it was still a good moment. Again, JBL beat Benoit by DQ. It's not the greatest, but you also had you had Edge versus Mick Foley, which is a really cool, really good match. The spear through the flaming table is still a very really cool spot. Boogeyman versus Booker T didn't happen. I don't know why I brought it up. No, I mean, it's just, I don't know, they were trying to push Boogeyman before they realized, maybe he's just better at being a, side character. Obviously, like I said, Mickey James and Trish, really good match. I'm thinking Mark Henry, like that. I don't mind the match at all. I think it's good. Again, I think this is another match where Undertaker falls on his head. Does he fall on his head in this match? Is this the Sim Snooker thing? Or it's one? I feel like he almost hurts himself in this match as well. But it is actually an okay. I don't mind it. I think it's an okay match. Shawn Michaels and Miss McMahon is better than it should be. I think it's actually a great story, and I thought it was a decent WrestleMania match. I think as long as you book it right and produce it right, McMahon can you can work around McMahon matches and it can be good. And then Ray getting his moment with Kurt defeating Kurt Angle, Randy Orton. I know he was sort of WrestleMania crowds are weird, so I know he was booed at this time. He got booed by the crowd, but I do remember that crowd kind of it wasn't indicative of how crowds set from it later on. It's just WrestleMania crowds are weird, but it was still cool. Just have his moment. Could have gone a bit longer, but it was a good match while it lasted. And then that's it about the Playboy pillow fight. This is around this time. Like, hey, we had a good women's match. Let's have another women's match on the show. Oh wait, yeah, to show you what we really think about women. But then John Cena Triple H was good. Wasn't a huge fan of the build up, but I was like, yeah, it's going to be easy. You can't wrestle, which is not a great way to put it, champion, but it was still a good match. I think so. Overall, but I do think the good, especially with Edge and McFoley and all that stuff, and like RVD winning the bank. I think that, and Mickey James, I think that good, says test time and it outweighs some of the bad in the show. So I'm going to recommend it.
Yeah, I can't remember what mania it was, but I think because I think I watched about half of WrestleMania 4, which was the tournament one, where they had the cat fight girls and two divas fight. It has a fight in that as well.
Oh yeah.
But Brandon, what do you say about WrestleMania 22?
WrestleMania 22. This one, I kind of feel bad for not remembering this one. You had the culmination of the feud between Trish and Mickey James, complete with Mickey James making that hand gesture, as it were. And there went your monetization, Malcolm. I do apologize on behalf of Richie Goodacre. With that, let's put away the Boogeyman match. I think everyone's forgotten about the pillow fight too. Who cares? We had Money in the Bank. RVD won. Definitely was the right one to win that one. You also had Matt Hardy giving Ric Flair a superplex from the top of a flipping ladder. It's like, was it? I don't remember who it was. I think it was JR who was like, he's 56 years old. I was like, well, yeah, he doesn't need to be taking bumps like that. And that was nutty. And then the hardcore match between Edge and McFoley, that was just nutty with, you got the thumbtacks, the barbed wire, the table on fire. Overall, I'm going to give this a small but significant yes.
Yeah. Was this year where we had the match like Shawn Michaels and God versus the McMahons as part of that?
That was next month at Backlash. That was next month at Backlash.
Can't wait till when I get to that one, especially past. But yeah, I do remember what just once again. I do remember watching this one. This is another one I've got on DVD. And yeah, look, and it's one of those ones like Shawn Michaels versus Miss McMahon. Like, was a lot of fun. It's better than it should have been. And John Cena versus Triple H, I think, was good. And yeah, really enough, I'm a big fan of the gimmick of Boogeyman. While I do appreciate the criticisms that he really can't wrestle, I will say it's probably I do like the gimmick. And yeah, and Edge versus McFoley was good. Mickey James and Trish Stratus, Mickey James is probably up there with my favorite divas of all time. And Undertaker versus Mark Henry, I think, was good. And I know there's rumors that he's returning to WWE, but I don't think he's returning to wrestle though, if he is. Yeah, so it's gonna be yes for me for WrestleMania 22. And Jacob, what are your thoughts about WrestleMania 22?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's, from 17 to 26. I don't think there's a bad WrestleMania in the bunch. I think it's a really good year for them. So I think it's just a matter of what do you prefer? And yeah, I was torn between 22 and then 23 and 24, kind of hovering around the same spot. So really, it was, well, which one's going to get brought up first? And it was 22. I think it's really solid. I think there's a lot of good matches. That main event is really good. Triple H and John Cena, who, I'm pretty sure Triple H is the heel, but you wouldn't know it by the crowd reaction. The crowd was really, really into Triple H. And yeah, that Shawn Michaels Mr. McMahon match is really good. How good was Shawn Michaels in the 2000s coming back from his back injury? Well, according to the PWI, from 2004 to 2010, he had the match of the year every single year. Most of them were WrestleMania, with the exception of the John Cena Raw match in 2007. Dude was incredible coming off that back injury, and yeah, he carried McMahon to a hell of a match. Yeah, RVD. Yeah, there's a lot to love about this WrestleMania. So, yeah.
That WrestleMania 22 is going to close off the list. Just to recap what we've got on the list, we've got WrestleMania 40, we've got WrestleMania 19, WrestleMania 30, X7, 31, 21, 39, 10, 20, 35, 26, and 22.
Bingo.
As soon as I stopped saying WrestleMania, I was waiting for someone to do that. But I don't know if there was much there, but Brandon, do you have any honorable mentions that you would have brought up?
I mean, two. One I had in the back of my head, but one I just now thought of. I'm like, man, how did I forget this one? Is WrestleMania 24. You know, Edge versus Undertaker. You know, Shawn Michaels saying to Ric Flair, "I'm sorry, I love you," before super kicking him into retirement. And then the other one, this is the next one I was going to bring up in case Richie's didn't go through. Just for the fun of just see what would happen. And I was going to say WrestleMania 36, the empty arena mania. The COVID mania, as it were. However you want to call it. That's probably not a good thing to call it. I mean, they did the best they could with that. Drew McIntyre being Lesnar for the WWE title. Boneyard match. Firefly Funhouse match is way too fun, despite the fact there was literally only one bump taking the entire match, but it was still a fun thing. But that's what I had.
Yeah, for me, I didn't really have much left either. Like the next one I would have brought up is WrestleMania 27. I thought it was a lot of fun. WrestleMania 32, I thought was also pretty good. And even though I'm pretty sure they weren't going to make it in, like I'll give some respect to WrestleMania 1 just for being the first WrestleMania, but that's about it. Jacob, just have any honorable mentions there?
Yeah, so I also would have brought up 24. I think 23 is also really good. 38, I really enjoyed that Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match. Was a lot better than it had any right to be. Probably the most fun match that I've seen at WrestleMania in quite some time. 13, I think, is really good, especially Brett and Austin. And then finally 37. I think this year has produced some really solid manias. Or this decade, not this year. This decade.
What to say?
WrestleMania 69 already. Rich, what are some honorable mentions?
Sponsored by Brazers.
No one that like is nothing that hasn't been mentioned before. Yeah, but like just yeah, like 23, 24. It's great. Yeah, 13 was great. If you had said 27, I probably would have resounding no. I think that's the worst WrestleMania ever. WrestleMania 38 is quite good. And yeah, so it's pretty much it. But yeah, I would like you. I'd give love to WrestleMania 1 just for being the first one, but beyond that, probably no other reason other than that. But yeah, I think we got I think the list we got is pretty good.
Yeah. And you joke now, Brandon, but with the way WWE sponsorships are going, when we do eventually get to 69, I wouldn't be surprised if Razzles or Playboy is sponsoring it.
Everything's sponsored. It's fucking annoying. The War Raiders look fucking like geeks.
It's going to be hosted by Val Venus and Joey Ryan.
Oh, God.
Canceled.
But with that, Jacob, what WrestleMania do you have at 12?
35.
Richie, what WrestleMania do you have at 12?
Yeah, I'll go 35 as well, actually.
Brandon, what WrestleMania do you have at 12?
26.
I just because I haven't seen it, 10. But 35 is going to be at 12.
It's confusing. A lot of numbers. 35 at 12. 10 or 11. Oh,
But Richie, what do you have at 11?
I'm going to WrestleMania 10 here.
Brandon, what do you have at 11?
I'm gonna stick with 26.
I'm sticking with 10. Jacob.
I have 10.
So at number 11, we've got WrestleMania 10. If Eric was here, he would have made the joke about we should have put WrestleMania 10 at 10. Keyboard. Brandon, what do you have at 10?
I'm sticking with 26.
I'm also going 26. Jacob.
I'll go 26.
Richie.
Yeah, I'll make it a clean sweep, 26. And if anyone's wondering why I wrote out 10 as opposed to typing out the number, my one button is being very iffy on my keyboard. So, but next up, I'm going to go WrestleMania 20. Jacob, what do you have at 9?
I have WrestleMania 30.
Richie. Richie, what do you have at 9?
Sorry, 30. I was muted.
Brandon.
31.
But that the 30s have it. WrestleMania 30 will be at 9. Richie, what do you have at 8? You might be muted again.
I'm muted. I'm doing this. I'm doing Stephen, doing a you. I'll go 31 for this one.
Brandon.
I'm sticking with 31.
I'm going 20. Jacob.
I said 22.
But
31. Not 31.
Mm-hmm.
That's a top 5 for me.
You
Why am I
seem
racing
to-
forward?
On to 7. I think me, I'm sticking with 20. Jacob.
22.
Richie.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.
And Brandon.
We have a tie. 20.
So in a tie, we go to the chat. If anyone's in the chat, 20 or 22 at 7. Otherwise, I'm setting up a reel. I know it's a really riveting thing while I set up a reel. 20 and 22.
Let me tell you why you guys are wrong about 31.
Yeah.
It's the heist of the
Right.
century, you guys.
I'm spinning the wheel. So I've got 20 and 22. I've got it on like multiple times, so they've each got an equal amount of chances to. Yeah.
Wheel of morality. Turn.
22. Jacob, what do you have for 6?
21.
Richie,
Yeah, 21.
Brandon.
Get that wheel ready.
20.
Yeah, I realise that. So I'm also going 20 as well.
Malcolm, spin
Luckily,
that
I
shit.
just have. Luckily, I just have to change one number. And the wheel is spinning once again.
We got away again.
21. See, I'll just sort it out like this. Stupid one button on my keyboard being iffy. I'm sure people will know what I mean by that. We're in top 5. We've got 19. We've got 40. We've got X7. We've got 39. We've got 20 left. Richie, what do you have at 5?
20.
Brandon.
20.
I'm also going 20. And Jacob.
20.
We all agree. Make it 20. 5. Brandon, what do you have at 4?
Any, meeny, miny, 19.
How dare you?
At 4, I'm going to go for 39. Jacob.
I also have 39.
And Richie.
39.
WrestleMania 39 is going to be at 4. But for number 3, I've got WrestleMania 19. Jacob.
40.
Richie.
40.
And Brandon.
I actually changed it to 40.
WrestleMania 40 is going to be 3.
Oh, man.
And now instead of going to number 2, we're going to vote for number 1 because the other one is by default. And it's got 19 or X7.
Legitimately the hardest decision I've had to make on Rincon.
Guess what, Jacob? You're first.
Oh,
do you want it number 1?
Some time. I don't have to get influence. I don't have to worry about I'm going 19.
Richie, what do you have for number 1?
17.
Brandon.
X7.
And I'm also going X7. So 19 is going to be 2.
Again, let me tell you why you guys are wrong about 31.
Okay, Cass.
No, he comes with just facts. I come with strong opinions.
Okay, Jay Burns.
No comment.
But with that, at number 12, we've got WrestleMania 35. At 11, we've got WrestleMania 10. At number 10, we got at WrestleMania 26. At 9, we got WrestleMania 30. At 8, we got 31. At 7, we got 22. At 6, we got 21. At 5, we got 20. At 4, we got 39. At 3, we got 40. At 2, we got 19. And number 1 is X7. But that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Rankum. Next week's episode, we are going to. It's been a while since we've actually done a movie topic, weirdly enough, but it's going to be top 12 Michael B. Jordan movies, which should be a fun
Space Jam.
topic.
Oh, wait. No. That's the other guy.
But Jacob, we can be on you online.
Yeah, you can usually find me on Thursdays over on the Lonely Marks where we talk some wrestling. And if I'm not there, then you can catch me doing comedy in the local Washington State area.
Richie, we can be on you online.
Almost the exact same. Lonely Marks and Wheeler Movies every second Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Next episode will be a couple of weeks. We're doing Reservoir Dogs, which I haven't actually seen yet. It's one of my Quentin Tarantino blind spots. That'll be fun. And yeah. I'm just doing my plugs, dog. I'm doing my plugs. Another man doing plugs. Other than that, Wild Horror, all that jazz. Yeah, Tournament Fights, Tier Rank, Lonely Marks. Yeah. And also, if you live in the Brisbane area or surrounds, I do comedy as well, and including some hippie festivals that I will be doing a hippie festival on May the 4th. Yeah, that should be fun.
Be with you.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Called the Planting Festival. Get tickets wherever. I don't know. I should have got the information, but whatever. Yeah.
But Brandon, we can be on you online.
You can pretty much find me in various trivia leagues. These days, I'm mainly on Lights Out Trivia here on YouTube, or Combat Wrestling Trivia over on Cass's channel, twitch.tv/Castifer. And talks with JPO and started doing more stuff with WWT, and actually starting to compete in a show about trivia as well. And the last thing I'll say, I'm not going to give much details, but I am planning on starting my own trivia channel. When that will be, I don't know, but I am working out the details right now. So be on the lookout for that. I guarantee you all three of you, and probably most everyone who's watching, will get an invite to be a part of that. So, yeah. I'm tired.
You can find me hosting Rankum every week on Sunday. It won't be on Sunday next week, or will either be Monday or Saturday. I haven't quite decided which, because I've got something else on that Sunday. But you can find me on Wednesday this week on Spare from the Past, as me and Austin will be talking about Armageddon from 2005. But yeah, and you can also find me all over the place, like popping up here and there. And next Sunday I'll be on Movie Hero Network for Best to Worst, doing family movies. We started this in January. We're finally getting around to part 2 this next week. that is it from Vankum, and but until next time, I don't have any. So I'm just.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.